Good morning and welcome to Tuesday morning Zoom NCCT class. We're going to finish up our laws and ethics that we started last week. So did you guys keep your little keywords I gave you? How many of you guys felt like that helped when we were reading the scenarios?
I did. They helped a
Yeah,
lot.
It did help.
just make sure that you keep it for your when you take your NCCT. I get nervous. Sorry, NCCT is trying to kick me out because I got on and didn't do anything yet. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is Moodle. If you have not found your Moodle login from your Unitech email, please start taking steps to do that, because I'm keeping my class in until the last day of January. Then on February the 1st, we live launch Moodle. Now, the reason that I'm keeping my class, now, if you're not my student, I don't know what your instructors are going to do. It's all up to them. But I want to impress the importance of being able to get into Moodle by February the 1st, because Jenzabar will no longer be available for students. The issue for me is that we can't access the link for sim charting. It's there, but it doesn't work properly for Moodle. So each individual instructor will come up with the few days that's left with what the assignments are, but also you're not going to have that grace period until Sunday. You've got to get your assignments in. I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to make sure, but I would like for my students to have their everything finished up. It's going to be easy. You're not going to really have to turn anything in for labs. You're just going to have to simply say done. But you're actually going to be in the actual sim charts and not in your simulation playground. I wanted to give you guys some time in that. So please, 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 please do not wait till the 31st to let somebody know that you're having issues. Now, remember, I'm not just talking to you guys on Zoom with me. We're recording this, and this is going to go out to anybody who will listen. It's going to be a bit of a leap for everybody. So we ask for grace and patience, and we're going to get there together. Now, we started this process last week, so we've had probably a week and 3 days. No, that's not been that long. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 6 days so far. Given notice to please start working on this. So it's very important that we do that. I'm trying to think, seems like something else I wanted to say, but we're going to get straight into NCCT. How does that sound? Hi, Jasmine.
Hi.
I saw you pop in, and I did not want to move over before I said hello to you. Oh, here comes Tara. I guess I'll wait just a second. I feel like Santa Claus. Guys, some of you may be too young, but when I was a little girl, you could sit in front of the television every morning, like at 6 a.m. before school, and Santa Claus would be sitting there with his list, and he'd say, "Ho, ho, ho, Kayla has been a good girl this year." And he would go through the list. So sometimes I feel like I'm Santa Claus calling y'all's names. Hi, Tara.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so now we really are going to get started. Okay. The insurance and coding specialist arrives at work at 6 a.m. I got to take a drink. I got a frog in my throat. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. Well, I can't get the lid on. The insurance and coding specialist arrives at work at 6 a.m. One of the duties today is to follow up on patient delinquent accounts. The specialist knows that calls cannot start for the accounts until 8 a.m. due to the Fair Credit Billing Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices, Truth in Lending, or Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Fair debt collection practices?
A.
So A, Fair Credit Billing Act. Somebody
B.
said,
B.
okay, B. All right, so let's look at B. That's right. Let's talk about why. When you think about delinquent, what happens when you're delinquent? Somebody needs to collect the money, right? So kind of keep that in mind. If it's talking about something delinquent, you want them to pay that. So that's where they're going to collect. So you can think just a little bit broader about it. Sorry, guys. And you'll be able to get it with those keywords. Okay. Which of the following collection activities is prohibited by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act? Calling the debtor during normal business hours. Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Calling relatives to inquire about the debtor's contact information.
Yes.
Okay. Providing the name of the creditor to whom the debt is owed.
Yes.
Contact the debtor by mail. All right. Which one would you say would least likely be correct?
Mm.
Let's look at B.
B.
Yeah.
I say B.
B.
Calling the relative.
Relatives.
That's right. When collecting a debt, it is not permissible to call a person's relatives to inquire about the person's contact information. It is never acceptable to contact anyone except the person who owes the debt. Now, this is for test-taking purposes, right? Because you know if you put references on an application and you don't answer the phone, what are they going to do if they need to collect a debt? They're going to call your references because they're on your application. So I do realize, and that's why I didn't say anything, I do realize where this is kind of like, eh. So you guys just remember that. Look at which one is the least or the most wrong out of the scenarios sometimes. I know that sounds crazy for taking a test, but all right. Which of the following should the insurance and coding specialist do first when she suspects illegal practices under the Federal Civil False Claims Act? Continue to build the claims and look for another job immediately. Correct the claims, claim codes, and submit the claims to OIG, the Office of Inspector General, once updated. Make copies of the claims to use as evidence and contact the insurance carrier. Stop billing the claims and contact the facility's compliance officer.
D.
B.
I think it's B.
You
B.
think it's B?
As in boy.
Right. But as a coder, are you allowed to correct the claims that the doctor has given you to bill?
Is D.
D.
So,
D.
I'm sorry, did somebody say B again?
No. D is in Delta.
D as, thank you, Dawn. Dawn as in Delta. Delta. It's a really old song. Sorry. Sorry.
It was a movie too.
it.
So yes, it stopped billing the claims and contact the facility's compliance officer. I want to go back to that question if you guys are wondering. And it takes you back to. All right, so I just want to talk about the wrong answers. Continue to build the claims and look for another job immediately. If you know that it's not correct and you contacted the doctor and let him know it's not correct, that's a hard position to be in, right?
Right.
Right.
But you
Yes.
cannot continue to bill if you know for sure. And look, don't think you know, you better know you know. Because if you go to the inspector general with this doctor's claims, you better know that you know that you know, or you're going to be out of a job anyway. Because, you know, you can't commit fraud, but you've got to be,
Mhm.
you've got to be compliant.
Right.
Correct the claims and submit the claims to OIG once updated. Well, if you corrected the claims and you submitted them to the OIG and they're correct, what's the OIG gonna do?
Nothing.
Nothing. And plus, you shouldn't be correcting the doctor's work without his approval. Make copies of the claims to use as evidence and contact the insurance carrier. What law would you be breaking if you did this? If you personally made copies of medical records to
HIPAA.
HIPAA, you just can't do that. Stop billing in the claims and contact the facility's compliance officer. Set those claims aside and you would contact the compliance officer. And you guys know what's going to happen when you do it anyway. So we're not even going to get into that anymore. But you have to have integrity. Guys, you may not be operating on a patient, but what you do in medical coding and billing and accounts receivable is you're the reason why the patient can go back and get more care. It's very important. All right, get off my soapbox and move on. The insurance and coding specialist is training a new employee on collection procedures. Which of the following should she tell the new employee? You may leave a message at the patient's place of employment. You must identify yourself and the reason for your call. You may call between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. So what are we doing? Should we tell the employee? If y'all see something, let me know. We need to check it.
B and C for sure.
Okay, so you may call between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Okay. You may call during the work week, but not on the weekend.
Yes.
You may not say that they could be dismissed as a patient for non-payment.
D.
You may call during the work week, but not on the weekend. I know that we read that, but I want you to look at E just really quickly. You may not say they could be dismissed as a patient for non-payment. Can you say that?
No.
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 So which can we do? We can call during the work week, but not on the weekend. I wanted to really point E out to you guys because they'll try to trip you up sometimes on the test with that question, and you need to really take your time. Your answer is correct. All right. The physician that the insurance and coding specialist works for is fraudulent billing for services that were not performed. The specialist has previously tried to talk to him about this, but he continues with these practices. Which of the following should the specialist contact?
B.
B.
Should
OIG.
that be OIG?
Always the OIG. Guys, sometimes when I call insurance and they've been putting me off and putting me off and putting me off, I'll tell them, look, I'm fixing to send all of these records to the OIG because my provider's been waiting for 7 months for payment. Or are you planning on paying interest on the money that you're holding and not paying for no apparent reason? Guess how fast that check gets put out. But unless you say it, you know what I mean? A patient calls the physician's office and indicates that the provider is a family friend or a friend of a friend who referred her and wants the provider to waive the routine office visit copay of $30. Which of the following statements should the insurance and coding specialist use in response? We will waive the copay per the physician's instructions. Waiving the copay would violate the anti-kickback law. The practice attorney will review the situation and contact you, or I will need approval from the manager.
B.
B.
That kickback law, right? Friend of a friend. Very good. That's correct. Which of the following are considered standard responsibilities for an insurance and coding specialist? Complete the insurance claim accurately.
Yes.
Waive co-payments and co-insurance as required for patients. Well, we just did a question on that, right? Cannot be doing that. Transcribe medical records for physician. Submit claims to third-party payer.
Yes.
Okay, yes. And apply credit and collection laws.
Yes.
So guys, thumbs up if you agree. Okay, I can only see a few thumbs up, but that's only because I can only see a few of you at one time. That is correct. Dawn, it's like you've been through this test before. That's okay, it's a good refresher.
Yes.
Which of the following actions will help to protect an insurance and coding specialist from being charged with fraudulent behavior? Okay, so what's going to protect you? Follow current billing and coding practices?
Yes.
What do you guys think?
Yes.
We got to
Yes.
follow the current coding and billing practices. You have to. Report only the codes that the provider selects.
Yes.
Ask for clarification when documentation does not support coding.
Absolutely.
Abstract data from the patient's EHR summary page. Fill out the CMS 1500 form completely. So we think we're going to go with these three. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, here we go. Got this one's wrong. Let's see. So the answer is follow current billing and coding practices, ask for clarification when documentation does not support coding, and abstract data from the patient's EHR summary. Now, what can you get from the EHR summary? Their date of birth, right?
Mhm.
First, middle, last name, insurance information. So it is important for a billing and coding specialist to avoid committing fraud. One way to avoid committing fraud is by following current billing and coding practices. This means consistently educating themselves through seminars, articles, and using current materials and coding updates. They should also ask for clarification when documentation does not support the coding. They should only code what is documented and never code only what the physician selects. A billing and coding specialist should also be able to abstract data from the correct parts of the EHR summary page. Filling out a CMS form completely will not help to protect a billing and coding specialist because not every space needs to be filled out on every claim. It is important to be aware of what information is needed on specific claims. Do you guys remember what's found in box 23 on a CMS 1500 form?
Authorization.
Authorization, yes. I only said it 1 bazillion times, but all right. So a clinical laboratory receives orders from a physician for a specific clinical laboratory test. The lab performs and bills for a test indicating on the order, but also bills for additional tests that were not ordered or rendered. This illegal practice is considered. So,
Fraud.
I'm sorry?
Would that be fraud? Somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat.
Somewhat.
But what's not fraud is they actually sent stuff to the lab, right?
Right.
Right.
They have orders. This is what we want. But somebody in the lab decided to add more to it without
Upcoding?
permission. That is
So is that upcoding?
upcode.
Coding.
They're trying to get as much
Okay.
money as possible, even if it's not medically necessary. Ah, that was wrong.
So it was fraud.
Okay, who got it right? Look, I have to come over and say, look, who are you? Who got that right?
Me.
Shaquanta.
Good job.
So it was fraud.
It was fraud, but it's
fraud.
also upcoding.
Yeah.
Right.
But I am giving Shaquanta all the props. Dawn, how did we get that wrong?
I don't know. That sounded like upcoding.
Submitting a claim or claims for a medical item or service that is not performed. Oh, it's not actually performed.
Performed.
That was the thing.
key.
Are medically necessary constitutes fraud.
So it's like submitting.
There was things sent, but they added things to it, which made it fraud. They didn't take what they did and make it a higher code. That would be upcoding. Shaquanta, you just get to teach next week. How about that? You ready? I don't think she wants to. She didn't answer.
I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to either.
An intentional tort in which unconsented, harmful, or unwarranted physical contact occurs is an example of an intentional tort in which unconsented, harmful, or unwarranted physical contact occurs is an example of
Abuse.
C.
I was thinking battery.
Battery.
Remember, in medical billing and coding,
Is it
isn't
Thinking
It's
battery?
abuse. You're right. It's abuse.
abuse?
you think it's abuse? Okay, who votes
I mean,
for abuse and who votes for battery?
I have a feeling it's not abuse for some reason, but I can't remember why.
Not sure, but
Because
I mean,
isn't abuse
It's unintentional. Yeah, abuse is
Yep. So
unintentional.
it's battery.
Yeah, in the medical billing world, abuse is unintentional. This is an intentional tort. So battery. Woohoo! See what I mean? You guys just remember those little key things because it's going to get questions that you're like, well, what's, it's not much of a difference between the two. There may not be, but they're looking for the most right answer. Don't you just hate that? Like, give me a bunch of bad answers so I can get the right one.
23 was
A physician does not require his patients to pay copays. The insurance and coding specialist has told the physician that this is an illegal practice. The physician continues to waive the copays. Which of the following indicates the appropriate course of action for the insurance and coding specialist? Ignore the situation because the physician owns the practice. Alert the insurance carriers. Add the copay amounts to the patient's bills and send written notices to the patients. Now let's really think about this, okay? So you've already
We know
talked
it's
to the
not
doctor.
A.
Right. It's not a.
You can't ignore it.
No.
You can't. But can you add the copay amount to the patient's bills once the doctor says not to?
I would say no.
No, you can't. Can you send written notices to the patient about it?
No.
So that really leaves us with one answer. And it's a scary answer, right? Because nobody wants to make this call. But that's the call that's legally required. Now, guys, just because we're doing this test doesn't mean that some of these things aren't done, but we're learning about the test. Okay, so we're going to be selecting 3 again. Which of the following are legitimate reasons for a provider to terminate a patient relationship? Patient constantly fails to keep appointments. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I just
Possibly.
Patient fails to make payment arrangements on a delinquent account.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, okay. Patient is related to a staff member. That shouldn't matter, right?
No, it shouldn't.
No.
Patient is non-compliant with medical treatment.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Patient is disruptive in the waiting room. We can only pick 3.
Yeah.
We want to go with the 3 that we picked?
Yeah.
And your answer is correct. And that is, oh my goodness, hello everybody. When I'm sharing, I can't see everybody here. I'm glad that you came to join us. Hi, Brittany. Long time no see, girl.
Oh, I had a rough week last week.
Well, you had a rough week. Guess what I just did? Knocked my entire Dr. Pepper, everything. All right, well, things like this happens, right? So we're just going to go with the flow and we're going to remain professional while we do so.
Yeah, I had my baby, my 6-year-old and my son's girlfriend both had really bad ear infections all week.
Oh my goodness,
Oof.
that's terrible. Well, the piece of paper that I needed to grab that just caused it all is not even giving me the answer I need. I'm going to look at the I'm drenched in Dr. Pepper. It's just funny. It's like pouring off my desk. I thought, well, guys, this is just so you know, I don't always have my life together. What you see in somebody in a short time on Zoom does not mean, have you ever looked at somebody and thought, man, they've got it all together? Nobody has it all together. Everybody
At all.
spills Dr. Pepper at the most inconvenient times. But, instead of getting upset about it, use it as a learning moment and realize stuff happens. Just got to smile about it. Some stuff like this is not a big deal. So, all right. So let me look at the flyer because I want to know, and I don't know if you guys maybe can remember, when this class is supposed to end, when this NCCT. Oh, here we go. I made the flyer and I can't even remember. All right, so yes, next Tuesday will be our last NCCT on laws and ethics. I believe Miss Brandy is going to be next and she'll be hosting the Tuesdays. And I believe she's going to go through claims. So that will be the next one. But next week, what I want us to do is I want us to do speed test. So we're going to go back through this test entirely. There's only 25 questions, right? So let's go through and see how fast we can get them done and check our answers. How does that sound? It gives us one more time to go through, but we're going to do it fast. I keep thinking of Jeopardy. Do, 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 do. So does anybody have any questions?
I have one. You said that there were some of the questions specifically that will be on the test. Was that the ones that said that you answer with 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to jot all those down, and I just go back and look at your recordings and jot it all down, and I just wanted to make sure I had the right ones.
That is great. Look, if I could, I would send you a copy of this test, but I did that before and I got in trouble for copyright, so I can't do it anymore. But the good news is, and I think I said this last week, and I'm going to reiterate because some of you weren't here. Please, please, please work on getting in Moodle. It is so important. One of the great features about Moodle is there is an NCCT portion on there that has a practice test with 125 questions on it that you can start studying. So although it's a pain moving portals, right? There's some great features. And for my class, and we talked about how SimsChart is not working in Moodle, and we're going to be moving to Moodle before the module is over with. And I'm just talking about my class, and I'll talk to the other ladies instructors too to see if they want to do this. But you're going to have a project and you're going to be designing your own facility, all the way from what type of facility, your letterhead, your logo, what you want your colors you want your waiting room to be and why. It's a fun project, right? But those things are very, very important. Even if you go into a facility that's already decorated. Oh my goodness, Abigail, that is the cutest baby ever. Sorry, sorry. Look at him. Oh my goodness, all that hair. But even if it's already decorated, you never know when you're going to have an opportunity to be a part of an update, right? Or if you bring to the doctor that, I think that if seeing what kind of relationship you have in the facility, I really think that these rooms shouldn't be bright yellow. They probably need to be a softer yellow, not level, goodness, a softer yellow because, and you'll know why. So I just thought this would be something fun to do, something a little different. That's for my class. I'll talk to other instructors if they have any plans. If they don't, well, you just have to wait to hear from them. I'm sorry. I don't mean to brag about what I'm doing for my class. It's not like that at all. Although you can say, well, Mrs. Marcia's doing this with her class. Can we do that? No, don't do that. Because then they're going to come back to me and say, what'd you tell my girls? But anyway, all right. Any more questions before we? Are-
Yes, for your class, you haven't assigned anything in Moodle yet, right?
No, nothing is in Moodle yet.
Okay.
If you go in and look at Moodle, what's in Moodle, most of them are empty because we had to practice. So you won't be required to do anything in Moodle until February the 1st, but I need you to be able to get there February the 1st. So you're good to stay in e-learning. Unless I text one of y'all and say, hey, can you get in and see how this looks on your side? Yeah, it's easy. It's so easy. Dawn, you've gotten in and looked at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really
I've
easily-
actually uploaded it said we had an assignment doing it, and I actually had something in there, so I did it.
That was my homework assignment for Friday for administration. So it doesn't matter. But
Like
you
it's
know,
two different assignments.
it's because I told you my overachievers, Abigail too. Did you get in there and look at something?
I'm in here, but I don't see anything. I'm like, I'm on Moodle Workplace. Am I in the right place?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have
But it may
nothing.
just be, see, you guys are broken into sessions. Dawn is in one session, you're in a different session. I probably just put it in one session.
Got you, because I don't have anything in mind.
Okay, well, that's fine. All right, any more questions? Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me this morning. Truly, I appreciate it. And I have the most fun when I'm with you guys. Thursday, Miss Danielle will be hosting Zoom, and I will for my class, I'll get that link out to you ASAP. And for the others, I know Miss Ashley does her separate, but if anybody's from Miss Brandy's class, it will be Miss Brandy's class, my class, and Miss Danielle's class. That will be joining together on Thursday. If you have any questions or if you guys need anything, please reach out to us. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.